Greetings, Ashen here with another Musing Murmurs. Today I will be talking about upcoming horror films. There's a lot to be excited for. Oh my goodness. Every single time it's something new here, huh? Alright, let me adjust that camera. And let me flip this over real quick. Jeez, heaven help me, huh? Just for a smooth start. That's all I want sometimes, you know. Whatever the case is, though, greetings. If anyone does show up or if anyone watches this later, I appreciate you coming by and seeing my spooky wares. But today's topic, like I said, is going to be upcoming horror movies. There's a lot to be excited for, and there's a lot to be disappointed in, too. So what will I talk about this time? Well, let's get into the first topic. All right. Here we have Black Christmas. Boy, oh boy. I don't know how many of you remember the original Black Christmas film. The ending was particularly shocking. I don't really want to spoil anything for you, but it's a pretty dark film, and it leaves you with a lot of questions. And that's kind of what made it haunting a bit, because you didn't get all the answers, and because there was such a dark air to the whole thing. However, this new Black Christmas looks like a cartoon. Looks like Scream gone wacky. Wacky but tacky, definitely. Just looks like some kind of extreme feminist agenda BS. Now, I get in the first film how some people might find the end to be distasteful in comparison to what we have today. But it was meant to be shocking and horrifying. It wasn't meant to be celebrated. This movie seems to be taking the typical path of movies nowadays, and is just pushing for girl power. And not only that, but on the way to getting there, it is making the whole premise into some over-the-top cartoon. I guess I can attribute this to Happy Death Day, and turning horror into some slapstick comedy type of a deal. And that's fine, it worked for Happy Death Day. But this movie is a remake of another movie that was quite shocking and serious. So all I could see is disappointment in the future. Merry Christmas. Merry Black Christmas. Alright, well that's what I'm going to say for that film. Next on the list is Candyman 2020. I'm not sure how I feel about this film. From what I understand, let me talk to you a little bit about the original one. The original Candyman was an excellent movie based on Clive Barker, and it was shocking and awesome. It felt like it had a lot of lure to it. And when I saw it when I was younger, there were so many things to it that made you really think that were impactful. And yet it never felt like it was forcing some kind of message down your throat. It was what it was, a brutal story about a man who got tortured in a very inhumane way and then is coming back for revenge. This new film, I have to approach it skeptically. The woman who is directing it, as far as I know, has never produced anything else that I have ever seen. And definitely has never produced anything that I would care for. Also, in articles I was looking at while getting into this, it seems like race will be a hot topic in this film. Now, there was some precedence for that in the last one. But if they go off and get all preachy and lose the horror and try to make everything be about the race issues rather than being a horror movie, then this is going to be garbage. I'm willing to give people, a chance. But if this woman comes in here and ruins a classic, much like most remakes are ruined, then that will be the last chance. I can't take it any more of this. I thought the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake was done very well. That movie really surprised me. But not too many horror movies. Not too many horror movies. Nowadays, the remakes come out and just seems like everything is made worse, and people can't think of original ideas very often. But when they do, they're generally pretty celebrated. It's like chocolate chips in a cookie, The cookie is just has a few of them sprinkled in. So that's my thought about the new Candyman movie. If it's done well, it's going to be great, but considering who's behind the camera, I already don't have much confidence. So let's get on to the third movie. We have The Grudge. The Grudge remake. Boy, oh boy. Here we go again. The Grudge is played out and a half. There have been so many Grudge movies. They ran it into the ground, both in America and Japan. Ju-on in Japan, The Grudge here. The movies are almost comedic after a while. By the time we got to the third American Grudge movie, it was such garbage, it wasn't even watchable. The second one was kind of tough to get through. But then the third one, they didn't even release it in theaters. So now that they've run it into the ground, what are they going to do? Well, they are going to be making a reboot of The Grudge. And this time it's going to be in America, so it's going to lose all its atmosphere. At least the original had the smart idea to make the film in the correct country. But here we are in America. And from the trailer, it looks like there's a bunch of jump scares, and it looks like very formulaic with any other horror movie you'll see nowadays. Willing to give this a chance. It's the same company that brought out the original remake of The Grudge back when I was younger. And let me tell you, that movie was scary. I'd never seen anything like that. And that film single-handedly got me into Japanese horror films, because once I saw that American one and I knew it was a remake of a Japanese one, I went and investigated. And I think that movie still holds up. So go and check this out if you want, but definitely go and watch the original. And also watch the American remake. Also, whatever Japanese horror movies you've seen converted to America, just watch the originals, because they're different. And I know there's some cultural things, but they're still incredible in their own way. Even American audiences can appreciate a lot of the original Japanese stuff, like Ringu and Ringu Zero, two incredible films. But here we are. How long is it till we remake those? Now that The Grudge is coming out as a reboot of a remake. All right. On to the next film. Army of the Dead by Zack Snyder. There isn't much out about this now. And it's coming to Netflix. So that's pretty interesting. At least you don't have to really pay any extra to get it. This film, it interests me. Netflix stuff can be pretty good. But after seeing Dawn of the Dead, I liked that pretty well. It wasn't like the original at all. It wasn't quite as subtle. It was more explosive. But it really got people into zombies at the time. That movie single-handedly reawoken the zombie genre and made it last forever. I mean, up until now, even. You can even accredit Walking Dead coming out thanks to this movie's popularity and how it pushed the genre back into the limelight. So yeah, I'm interested in seeing what Zack Snyder does with this. Really liked his work on The Watchmen. His superhero stuff, not really my ticket, aside from The Watchmen. I thought he did an amazing adaptation with The Watchmen, and everything else is kind of like, I don't know, needlessly harsh. But that's something that really fit with The Watchmen. So anyway, that needlessly harshness, let's see if that plays into this. I am looking forward to it. So bring it on, Netflix. H.P. Lovecraft's Color Out of Space. Yes. It's been a while since I've seen a H.P. Lovecraft type of a film. A bunch of them came out when I was a bit younger. There's The Reanimator and Dreams in the Witch House. We got Dagon. All kinds of stuff came out that most people overlook. Those are excellent H.P. Lovecraft based books. Books, excuse me. They are excellent books, but they are also excellent film adaptations. This one, it's been a long time, but it looks pretty good. This is the director of Hardware, which was kind of a trippy cyberpunk film made back in the day. A lot of weird stuff about it. He hasn't really done much else that I've been very interested in, but just based on that alone, I would like to see what he would do with H.P. Lovecraft. I don't have the highest hopes for this film, but what can I say? It's been a long time. I'd really like a good H.P. Lovecraft film. I know Guillermo del Toro's been trying to make In the Mountains of Madness for like a million billion years, and nobody will fund him. But if anyone could do H.P. Lovecraft, it would be him. However, this, we'll see. I have high hopes for it. Starring Nicolas Cage. He's a pretty interesting actor. Acted in Mandy more recently. That's a pretty acclaimed horror movie. And I'd like to see some of that spill over into here. Next up is Antlers. Man, this movie looks crazy. This movie looks crazy. Antlers is like, it seems like some kind of a creature feature about this boy that's feeding some sort of a creature. Maybe it looks like a girl originally, but she bolts. This is all in the trailer. She bolts, and then her father comes around, who seems to be some kind of crazy ass creature. That's the best way to describe it. I am looking forward to this big time now. If you haven't seen the trailer for Antlers, definitely check it out. I don't want to do it here just because of copyright reasons and whatnot. That's why I'm only showing these posters. But I hope I've piqued your interest in at least some of these, or given you my own version of them. I want you to go and check it out for yourself, though, please, because that's how it is. You gotta look at things for yourself. But what am I gonna say here? It's gonna be an interesting ride. Sorry, I was checking out my phone real quick just to see if anything was going on. Anyway, let's get off of this. Don't have much else to say. Antlers is probably the one I'm most interested in. Definitely check out that trailer. lot of these don't even have a trailer yet, so I figured I would just talk about them a bit, why I'm excited or why I'm kind of skeptical about them. I don't know. I don't know how long this has been going. Probably not a very long video, but this is everything I have to talk about. I hope you enjoyed your stay. I had somebody peek in and peek out, but nobody checking this out. I guess horror films really isn't people's bag. I will have my comic book hunter video coming up probably tomorrow if I had to guess. Comic shop accidentally skipped me on one comic book because it was in a different box. So I'm going to have to go and pick up that last comic before I can do a review. Probably pick it up tomorrow and then try to do the review tomorrow at some point. Have my wife go and watch my daughter play in the yard or something like that. Anyway, so yeah, you can look forward to that. Now, if you watch this now, if you watch this later, I appreciate all of it. I hope you all have a great day. Yes.